Earlier this year, I had an ugly conversation with my wife. She was mad, and she was upset, and she was tired. There were definitely some other issues at play, but it all came bursting out in 4 all too understandable words. I miss the money. And she went on to tell me how she misses being able to buy whatever she wants, or just go to Mexico. And honestly, I feel that. I have these types of feelings every so often, and it can be so frustrating and humbling. And I'd be lying if I said I was immune to jealousy or materialism or comparison. We are all human, and nobody can be fully immune to it, even people who teach it and talk about it each and every day. It can be a surreal coaching experience, coaching families with $30,000 a month take-home incomes. Yes, you heard that right, $30,000 a month. These types of conversations can be somewhat disorienting, but here's what I know to be true from my own experience and from the experiences of my coaching relationships. Money never causes happiness. And some people, they'd give up all of the money in the world to have a sense of meaning, purpose, and impact. Some of these wealthy families do have a high level of meaning, impact, and purpose, but it's not caused by the money. Side note, I'm not singling out my wealthy clients, as I have many clients making $40,000 a year battling the same issues. So yeah, this stuff can be disorienting. Money can twist us up in all sorts of ways, and the second I let my guard down is the moment I fall right back into that trap. There are a lot of things that can trigger me. Stick shift convertible sports cars, exotic vacations, a beautiful house, high-tech gadgets. I crave all of these things sometimes. It's also hard when I've tasted so many of these cool things. Traveled to dozens of countries, business class flights, ridiculous restaurants, some of the most beautiful hotels in the world. It's so cool. However, I can also take a step back and ask myself, what's the most important thing? Would I trade my life of passion for these things? Absolutely not. There's nothing in this world that money can buy that would deter me from living each and every day with the purpose and the meaning that I've been called to pursue. I don't want to leave you thinking that I'm married to a materialistic wife who hates our life. That couldn't be further from the truth. As the conversation went on and we hashed through it, she concluded, I don't want our old life back. I don't want you to give up this career. I'm just having a bad day. I love our life now. I'm just having a bad day, Travis. And I don't blame her. I have these days too. Certain experiences or conversations or social media posts can trigger these types of feelings. Materialism has a hold on us. And I'm not just referring to my wife and I. I'm referring to all of us. We live in a culture here in the US that's built around materialism. It's just a fact of life. So the answer is not to simply expect the culture to change around us, but rather to navigate the culture in a healthy way. Here's a few simple steps that we can take to work through this without losing our way. And these are things that I have to do with myself, otherwise I fall way off the path. Number 1, surround yourself with like-minded people who also desire to navigate this journey without falling into the materialism trap. If you're married, I hope the person sleeping on the other side of your bed is one of them. If not, we have some trouble brewing. Aside from our spouse, find friends who also see the bigger picture and have a commitment to a life of meaning rather than the pursuit of more. Don't search for the perfect people. There aren't any. They're just as messed up as you and me. Find people with a fire for purpose, a commitment for better, and the honesty to hold you to a higher standard. Number 2, maintain distance from people who will pull you deeper into the materialism trap. We all have them in our lives. Friends, coworkers, family, neighbors. You know, the people that care way too much about what others think. The people who believe there's a direct correlation between how much you spend and how much fun you can have. The people who every time they get something new, whether it's a car, maybe a house, or a gadget, they're already dreaming of the next upgrade. The people who judge others for making humble decisions around the spending habits. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be friends with these types of people, not at all. Instead, I'm suggesting that we give them a little less time and a lot less influence in our day-to-day lives. A wise man once told me that we become the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And I think that applies here. Number 3, don't feel guilty or defeated when you get a materialistic urge. It just makes you human. Instead, we need to process it by asking ourselves 2 very important questions. The first one is, what triggered that feeling and why? Something we saw or we experienced or heard? Understanding that stimuli in triggering these emotions is so important, as then we'll have some control of how many triggers we're potentially exposed to in the future. It's also important to understand why we were triggered. Is it our desire to be accepted? Or as a way to outwardly portray our career or financial success? Or perhaps, is it a way of making up for a lack of confidence? Or maybe we just simply want to do what others are doing. If we can understand the answer to why, we can have a better self-awareness of our own decisions and stop self-consciously masking them with spending. Knowing the answers to these questions, what and why, can make all the difference in the world. Number 4, consider the broader context. In a vacuum, sure, we would all like to have a nicer house or a cooler car, more exotic vacations, or the newest technology. But we don't live in a vacuum. We live in a wild and crazy world. There's a give and take to every decision. Every time we start to desire something, we need to figure out where it fits in the overall scheme of our life. Many people are selling their dreams and their happiness for a nicer car or a bigger house. It's about priorities. If your absolute top priority is to switch careers or start that business or stay at home with your babies, your spending decisions need to reflect this priority. We can't say our dream is to stay at home with our kids and then turn around and purchase a $50,000 car. However, if you're living a meaningful life, creating impact on others, pursuing work that matters, and you understand that money is not the source of happiness, then buying that car without debt could be an okay decision in your life. It's all about understanding the true priorities and values and making sure that your spending decisions align with them. Number 5, know that it's okay to have nice things. As long as your spending decisions align with your broader priorities and you're doing it for the right reasons, then you can do it in a healthy way. My family, we're planning some really fun time in Thailand with our kids soon. We want to go on an adventure, expose our kids to new cultures, new foods. We want to explore with them what real diversity looks like and create memories that will last a lifetime. And this trip's going to cost money. But it falls right at the top of our priority list, and it closely aligns with our priorities and values. Therefore, we're going to make sacrifices in other areas of our life to ensure this happens. And then when it happens, we're going to do it with joy, with excitement, and most importantly, we're going to do it without guilt. I love my wife, and I honestly love how she's able to be that raw and honest with me about something as toxic as materialism. And as I told her in this conversation, it's not going away. It's something that we're going to have to navigate for the rest of our lives. However, if we navigate it well, the quality of our life will be so grand and so meaningful. And in hindsight, we'll be so grateful that we didn't fall into that trap. Thank you so much for watching. We hope this added value to your life, and if it did, it would mean the world to us if you would like, share, or even subscribe to this channel. And while you're here, please check out some of our other content or check the link below for Meaning Over Money, which is our online video course for young adults, where we teach how to live for meaning and not for the money.